please welcome to the show, Brandon Siler. So many lessons in leadership here.
Well, thank you for having me.
Yes, indeed. It's a pleasure to have you. But before we talk about building the leader, I want to hear the story, and I want you to share with our viewers the stories that led to your leadership skills.
Well, it was a lot of stories,
Yeah.
basically, of me growing up, right? You have a mom that's strong, right? That's always on you, that's actively pushing you to be the best that you could be.
Right.
And a little bit of that is the absence, like the things that we grow up with that, or grow up without, that push you into that leadership role early in your life. So I was always like, I'm the man of the house, right?
Right.
And
so by absence, a man of the house, we read into that an absence of a father figure.
Right, exactly. So then I have to step up and do that. So I've basically taken that and transformed it and took it with me in everywhere that I go, right? When I was going on the football field, when I'm in business, every day when I'm trying to motivate the people that are around me, the people that I'm leading.
Right, right. So let's talk about, and this was from kid on up. You've always been into sports, and mom has always been pushing you in the classroom and on the field, right?
Yes.
Let's talk about the draft. You are obviously, you get to the point where it's clear, this kid's good enough. He's going to the NFL. Let's talk about the draft.
Yeah, well, I was literally, so you have an opportunity to turn in your early admission. So they'll tell you, this is about where you'll get drafted if you will leave school early. Okay. So I submitted my papers and it said anywhere as late as the second round. So performed well at the combine.
Let's just pause right there, because that's got to feel good.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, okay, well, now I'm ready.
Yeah, now we're about to do this.
My family poor, so hey, I'm finna go get us some money in this family. You know what I'm saying? So, but it didn't happen that way, right? So I get into the draft, and I was supposed to be anywhere from first or second rounder, and I got drafted in the 7th round. So I always tell a story like I lost $20 million in 2 days, right?
Because those first 2 slots.
If I was in the slots that I was supposed to be, I was $20 richer. So everybody thinks that everybody just goes on to the NFL and makes all this money. Well, my signing bonus was $40,000 in California, which is $20,000 after taxes. So imagine thinking that you're about to run into $20 million and then you get $40,000.
What is that like? Because I've always wondered, when you see the look on the faces of these young men, you don't hear your name, but you're still in an amazing space. This is still rare air. What was that like as each round passes?
Well, first thing that you're thinking is like, is this real? Like, this is what I've did. Well, this is what I've worked for my whole life. Right. I was the one that put in all of the work. I was the one making straight A's. I was the good person in the community. So I felt like that was my time, right? That was when I was going to get the reward for everything that was coming my way. Well, God has a way of showing you that, look, I got the ultimate plan in hand, right? And now what I'm doing in life, I feel like all of that was a testament. All of that was stepping stones to get where you're supposed to be, where God really has for you in life. So,
and to be clear, you did get drafted.
I did get drafted.
And you did have a great career. There was an event, a life-changing situation for you. Let's talk about that.
So in my 6th year in the NFL, I was playing for the Kansas City Chiefs, and they brought me there to replace a guy named Jovan Belcher, right? But we became best friends. We were 2 Mike linebackers. I loved the dude. And one morning, this one morning specifically, I stayed in. I didn't go early. I was always one of the first ones in the building. But this day, I didn't go in early. So Derek Johnson calls me. He says, "Hey man, where you at? Like what's going on?" I'm like, hold up now. I know I'm usually the first person in the building, but I'm just having a little sleep in. I'm like, right, yeah,
what happened?
And he said, Jovan just walked by the locker room with a gun. And I said, he walked by with a gun? What do you mean? He's like, I was like, okay, well, let me talk to him. Let me holler at him. He said, no.
He's gone.
They locked us inside of the locker room. So now I'm flushing it, trying to get there. I go as fast as I can. And as I'm pulling in, the ambulance is the police is pulling around the corner at the same time. And Jovan, as I know the story goes, he says, it's too late. Pow! And shoots himself in the head right there. So that was so traumatic to me that the sport that I had worked my whole life for every day what I ate, what I got up and did was about football.
Right.
And in that moment, that was taken away from me because my mental health and the capacity to even think about the sport wasn't there. He did that on a Saturday. We played on Sunday.
How hard was that? Because we also know, I mean, for those who remember, there was death and tragedy that day that affected not only his family, but the family of loved ones.
He shot his fiance 17 times, and then he came to the facility. He ended up shooting himself after, telling everybody there that, thank you for the opportunities that y'all gave me. I messed up, made too big of a mistake to recover from, so I gotta go. And bang, he goes. So it was tough. It was really tough playing.
What kind of help did you get immediately after that, either from the league or even just on your own? Or did you?
I think the problem is that there's no help that's automatically put out there, right? There's no help that is given to you that you really can use. There's the cliche stuff that they do, but that's why I got a rehab facility, right? It's for athletes, right? Because when you're an athlete, there's a certain level of trust that you lose because so many people are trying to take from you. Well, when you go around other athletes and you have the mental health work that you're putting out there and you're trying to get better, right? You'll have a guy that he'll be in the same rehab facility and you'll be further along so he can pull stuff from you.
Right.
But then there's another guy that's further along than you that you can pull stuff from. It's this
basic principle of iron sharpens iron, right? It has to be an ongoing process. We're going to pause the conversation right here because you've touched on so many things that I want to get back to. We've got to take a break, but when we return, you're going to get some more life lessons in leadership with Brandon Siler, and you're going to meet the beautiful woman who's helped lead him to the next level of success. His beautiful wife, Pam, joins the conversation when we return. Stay with us.